friends, brothers and sisters here. And I'm sorry, my voice is a little under the weather. I'm sorry, let's see if you can speak a little bit. Let's see if your voice will, whatever, sing. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gaura ki jai, Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki, Shri Radha Govardhan Dari ki, the Govardhan Dham ki, Vatrashma Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Premanande, glorious to the assembled deities, all glorious to the assembled deities, all glorious to the assembled deities. All glories to Shri Guru Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutane Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vijayani Namaste Shastamani Pasti Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are most fortunate. We are assembled here in this holy Tirtha in the association of Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Immediately we find a holy place, Srimad Bhagavatam, association of the Vaishnavas in front of their lordships, the deities, and reciting the holy names. All 5 primary limbs of devotional service are here with us today. How fortunate we are, and we are fortunate to have this opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So please repeat. I think I've got 16, is it? 16. Saha Vishva Janma Stiti Samyama Arte Krita Avatara Pragrihita Shakti Chakara Karmani Atipurushani Yani Ishvaraha Kirtaya Tani Mayam Sadishvajanma Stiti Samyamarte Kritvatara Pragrihita Shakti Kritavatara Pragrihita Shakti Chakara Kamanyati Purushani Yaneshwara Kirtayatani Mayam Sadishvajanma Stiti Samyamarte Kritavatara Pragrihita Shakti Chakara Kamanyati Purushani Yaneshwara Kirtayatani Mayam Saha, the personality of Godhead, Vishva, universe, Janma, creation, Stiti, maintenance, Sangyama, arte, with a view to perfect control. Krita, accepted, avatara, incarnation, Pragrihita, accomplished with, Shaktihi, potency, Chakara, performed, Karmani, transcendental activities, Ati Purushani, superhuman, Yani, all those, Ishvara, the Lord, Kirtaya, please chant, Tani, all those, Mayam, unto me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So this chapter is entitled Vidura's Talks with Maitreya. It's the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5, text number 17. And here the inquiries, requests of Vidura talking to Maitreya. Maybe this is next few verses. Maitreya will begin to speak. So this is the last of his little statements here. Kindly chant, this is Vidura's asking Maitreya, kindly chant all those superhuman human transcendental activities of the Supreme Controller, the personality of Godhead, who accepted incarnations, fully equipped with all potency for the full manifestation and maintenance of the cosmic creation. I hope you can hear my voice is a gruff. With various reasons, I won't get into explaining it, but it's been like this most of the week. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Vidura was undoubtedly very eager to hear about Lord Krishna in particular. But he was overwhelmed because Lord Krishna had just passed away from the visible world. He, therefore, wanted to hear about him in his Purusha incarnations, which he manifests with full potencies for the creation and maintenance of the cosmic world. The activities of the Purusha incarnations are but an extension of the activities of the Lord. This hint was given by Vidura to Maitreya because Maitreya could not decide which part of the activities of Lord Krishna should be chanted. Interesting verse in purport. I was glancing at this verse this morning and some thoughts came to mind. And with your permission, we'll try to share some of them with your blessings, your kindness. But I'd like to just ask you a question, devotees. A question. What do you, when you hear this purport, I hope you heard it, or the verse, is there anything that stuck out in your heart or your mind? Any points particularly? Did you understand the question? Yes?
It's just very nice that Vidura is always anxious to hear about Krishna's pastimes, because that's what pure devotees, that's their life. So that's all he wants.
Did everyone hear that? Interesting. Anything else stick out to you?
It's interesting that he didn't ask Maitreya to start speaking about intimate pastimes with gopis or anything like that, about Krishna's manifestations of Purushas and so on.
Yeah, why?
I'll leave that to you.
Pardon?
I'll leave that to you.
That's not a very good answer. Why? Okay, we'll ask their esteemed audience. Why? Your point I'm coming back to afterwards, by the way, Ambika. You got that book, haven't you, by Giriraj Maharaj on Bombay? You got it, huh? Amazing book. Yeah, you spoke already. Yes, Mani.
The activities of the Purusha are simply extensions of the activities of the Lord. So in that sense, they're not different from the activities of the Lord himself.
Yeah, that's one aspect. That there's no, in one sense, there's a difference, but there's not a difference. But anything more? Why did he specifically add? Maitreya, it appears, wasn't sure what to talk about. That's an interesting point, isn't it? Yes, Shanti.
From what I managed to hear, he didn't designate one particular subject, but he left it up to the speaker, just inquired from him in a nice way so that he would then
But he seems to be more inclined here. It's in the purport. Prabhupada says that he wants to hear that the accepted incarnations would be equipped with potencies for the manifestation and maintenance of the cosmic creation. So it's referring to, according to Srila Prabhupada in the purport, the Purusha. What are the Purusha avatars? Purusha Prabhu. We have a Purusha Prabhu here, but it doesn't refer to him. Is he still here in Mumbai?
He's leaving his body soon. He's nearby.
Nearby. So who or what are the Purushas? Purusha avatars. Pardon? Yeah, they're the expansions. Huh? There's expansions of the Lord which are specific, particularly in regards to the creation of the universes. And accompanying the living entities within the universe wherever they go. As the super soul is another form of the Purusha expansions in every universe. So, of course, we're in the third canto here. Anything else on this subject matter? Yes. I probably won't be here. You're wearing a mask.
May I try to gradually introduce the topics of Krishna from gradually going up to Krishna so that we can maybe get a hold of his emotions. And he's internally liberated devotee, a pure devotee. So actually these are things appears that he's on a more elevated position, but he's stating that somebody can guide him by prayer how to.
Yeah, okay, that's a lot. I think we got the point. The mention in the purport, isn't it? But he was overwhelmed. Sometimes we may be in a situation where you've lost somebody who's very dear to you. How do you feel? How do you feel? Someone who's dear to you, somebody you don't like, somebody who's dear to you. How do you feel? I mean, surely some of you have lost somebody who's very dear to you.
Grief.
You feel grief. And what happens if someone starts talking about all those very intimate things you have together? How does that?
You can't go on.
Excuse me?
You can't go on.
Can't?
You can't keep talking.
Can't? I didn't quite get it on my ear.
You can't keep talking
Can't keep talking?
about them.
It's too difficult, huh? It's almost unbearable. Huh? It creates such a volcanic emotional effect in your heart. It's just overbearing is too much. But of course, here, what else is a devotee gonna? Vidura's a great devotee. What else is he going to talk about? This is a very interesting. I think this is very interesting. I'm not going to talk on this point, even if I could. I'm not qualified too much, but I'm just going to briefly mention it. That it's very interesting to see that in this overwhelming condition of understanding that the Lord has gone away from the visible world, it must be devastating in one sense, just like when someone leaves our visible presence, it can be devastating. And you can't not think of them. To think of them makes that devastation even more intense. And someone's talking about all those wonderful pastimes and things and so on. It's a bit heavy. So that is inferred here. He was overwhelmed. But what does Vidura do? He's overwhelmed. He's too much to hear about the most intimate pastimes of the Lord, even if Maitreya was able to talk about them. What does he do? He's in an overwhelmed condition, distraught. What does he do in this condition? What does he do? Does he start screaming? Does he start becoming, calling out for his mother, whatever he may do. What does he do? He's not crying exactly. He's distraught or he's overwhelmed. It's interesting, his consciousness turns towards the Lord. Not necessarily in that intimate form which is unbearable for him to contemplate practically, but to the forms of the Lord, Purusha avatars, other aspects, other expansions of the Lord. It doesn't waver. He doesn't go back sometimes when you may turn to some other subject matter to pacify your senses, maybe take some intoxication or hear some other nonsense of some kind. But his consciousness is straight to other forms of the Lord. This is the nature of a devotee. Even in disturbed conditions, we may not be able to do or think of the thing which is most close to us, but something which is related to that. We don't waver, we get involved. Sometimes when you're in a very difficult stage of devotional service in our lives, it's not easy to do the things we're supposed to do. And even chanting sometimes is not always so easy. But we turn to something related to Krishna. I remember sometimes when I went through challenges, personal challenges. We're always in danger, we're always in challenge, you could say, but specifically, clearly ones, maybe even bordering depression and so on. Absorbing oneself in things which you could do for Krishna. Something you got some attraction towards, materially maybe, but which you can use in Krishna service. It keeps us connected, Don't have to go away, we just have to find how we can keep connected even in a disturbed condition, whatever the cause of the disturbance may be. But that's another subject, which I'm not going to go any further on. There may be some more points in this purport, but I'd like to go back kind of to Ambika Mata's first point. There's not one more important than the other, but it's the first thing that stuck out, the first line of the purport. Do you remember what the first line of the purport was? Is it on the board? No. What was the first line? Some of you have got your mobiles and are eagerly looking to see what it was. But if you don't have some iPhone or whatever it is, you're using a pad or whatever you call it. Does anyone remember? First line, more or less. Pardon? You have it written, so you're very, very good. I'm very pleased to hear that. Anyone who hasn't written it down, memory, anyone can, I'm not expecting, and I wouldn't remember it either. Please chant. Oh, that's the verse. Sorry, I didn't make it clear, the purport. It's a very significant point. I wanted to touch on it a little bit because we don't have much time. But the first line, one word stands out to me in the first line. They all stand out. I mean, of course, Krishna stands out more than anything, but there's one word because we're talking in relationship. We are not on that level of really being able to visibly in the heart to enter into those intimate pastimes. So we need to hear that which is relevant for us to become eligible to hear those pastimes in the right favorable way. The intimate pastimes or any level of pastimes of the Lord. Eligibility, well, that wasn't the word, but there's one word here which is related to becoming eligible. Very much related. And it begins with E and ends in R. Pardon? Eager, you got it. Eager. Eager. You all know what eager means? In Australia, I mean, materially, people may be eager for something. Huh? What are they eager for in Australia? Pardon? What was that? You say?
The beach.
The beach. Eager for the beach. Okay. You're from Australia? Oh, you know well. Not at all. You know well, you're straightforward, honest. And maybe different people are eager, but generally people are eager for something, huh? Eagerness. Maybe some specific things, but there's eagerness. So here we see he was eager to hear about Krishna. So I'm going to go now. I wanted to read something from a book called Journey of Self-Discovery, but we couldn't find it anywhere. It's something like Science's Self-Realization book. If anyone has a copy, or if my computer happens to be here, I can use it, I guess. I don't know if I can find it now. But before we do that, if we do it at all, we're going to read something from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is like, we're just talking about we're not eligible. And now we're talking about Lord Chaitanya conversing with Ramananda Roy. This is pretty high subject matter. But it starts at a level which is, you could say, related to our particular adhikar, eligibility that we're on. And it then transforms into a higher level of hearing topics. So where Bhagavatam takes us in this way, if we look at the first canto of Bhagavatam, like the soul, the Lord's lotus feet, we see that the process is emphasized a lot of how we become eligible. First chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, what does that deal with? Lots of questions, right? They're really eager, aren't they? They even say we're eager to hear about this subject matter. We want to hear. Why? Why do they want to hear? Why not hear about something else? Hear about the war in Ukraine? What's the difference? What's the difference? Why do they want to hear? And most people aren't very eager to hear about Krishna consciousness, are they? Most people look on the page of it. I mean, if some ordinary person on the street read today's purport, it probably wouldn't mean anything to them whatsoever. Meaningless, this Maitreya and Vaidura and all these words. I mean, they're easy ones. Some of them are not easy to pronounce. Purusha incarnations. What's all this about? No, they're not eager. But they were eager to hear. They may not have known, but they wanted to know. Eager. Why were they eager? Is it too simple? Is it self-explanatory? Come on, you're a scholar. The subject is very dear to their heart. Okay, that's common kind of understanding, isn't it? What we're eager about. Yes. Oh, can you? I didn't.
The taste of the Lord, and they were seeking more.
Yeah. Well, they were. Of course, up to this point. I mean, Sutta. This is the beginning, first chapter. So they've been hearing from Sutta about actually other things, leading up to this. It wasn't just like boom, like that. It said they had discussed other subject matters leading. So now they're becoming eager to hear the real thing. You know, the perfection. Everything leads up to this. So they're eager to hear more and more and more and more. Yes, they are. Anything else?
The context of it is also not desperate, but somebody's only got 7 days.
Well, this is in the forest of Naimishranya. Of course, they know that was a subject matter which must have had extreme importance and consequently absolute necessity to hear in 7 days that Parikshit Maharaj had. But they're in the forest of Naimishranya. They're there a long time, and they're all black from the smoke from their yajnas, and they haven't just arrived, you know. They want solutions. Huh? They want solutions to the problems, especially of this age of Kali. What is the solution? What is the medicine? What is the remedial measure to counteract the effects of Kali Yuga? What is it? Yeah, kirtana, chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. That's understood to be ultimately the only remedial measure to counteract the effects of this age of Kali. Other things may be important, but if that's not there, it will not have the effect. You may improve your lot, but it's not going to save us from the effects of Kali Yuga or any Yuga. So they want to extract this solution. They gather together to try to find some solutions. They didn't gather together just to have a social event. You yak up, feast, and whatever else you do. But they wanted solutions here, real solutions, not just temporary kind of like whatever you want to call it, temporary. What do you call it? Taking something to relieve the problem for a moment or forget it. They wanted actual solutions. So they're trying to extract this out of sutta. And then it's come to this point. This is the answer. But it doesn't dive straight into the deep end. Huh? If you can't swim and you jump straight into the deep end, what will happen? You may drown. Someone may save you, but otherwise you're going to drown. You go in slowly. You learn how to swim. Bhagavatam's teaching us how to enter into those pastimes, which are the actual solution to Bhagavatam. Tapijivanam. Kavividitam Kalmashapam. They're the solutions to this. All the problems for this age, we haven't got a taste, have we? Are we eager to hear them? Are you eager? Or do we have eagerness to hear other things? Fault-finding, gossip. It's very attractive, isn't it? Yeah, there are websites. There are more websites in ISKCON or not, I don't know. But around and about, one after the other, finding more and more faults with devotees. More, tell us more, tell us more. Dig deep, find every fault, even if it's not there, make one up. It's very interesting, isn't it? Wow. Whew. Did you hear? Ooh, really? Tell me more. I didn't know that. And what effect does it have on us? Does it make us ecstatic? Do we lose attraction for the material world? Do we develop a mad eagerness? I just want to surrender to Krishna. I love Krishna. Everybody's his part and parcel. I just want to engage them all in kirtan. Does it create that type of mood? Not usually. Creates doubts, confusions, and offenses, and loss of taste for Krishna consciousness in its real form. I said, we conditioned souls have this tendency. We have to change it. Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, we may not be so eager. So let's see what I wanted to read, but I have to either computer or very nice article by Srila Prabhupada on becoming eager to hear about Krishna. So I'm going to go back now. This Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking with one of his eternal associates in the form of Ramananda Roy. And he wants to extract this essence of existence, the essence of life itself. But you can't get it straight away. There's a process to extract or to enter into that subject matter. Well, one by one, he goes through different stages of progress. The Lord Chaitanya doesn't say they're wrong, but he rejects them, saying that they are all related to the material world. They're external. To conditioned souls giving up attachment to the fruits of work, following religious principles, offering the fruits of one's work in devotional service. All is good and all is recommended at different stages, etc. Surrendering everything. But ultimately, he wants to hear the eternal subject matter, the eternal nature of the self. So these are all stages towards becoming purified, becoming aware of the reality of life, not just the relativity of life. So step by step by step. And then eventually, Ramananda Roy quotes this verse spoken by Lord Brahma, interesting enough, in the 10th canto, Jnane Praya Samudapastya Namante Eva. Never goes on, I won't read it all. Ramananda Roy continued. Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, those devotees who have thrown away the impersonal conception of the absolute truth and have therefore abandoned discussing empiric philosophical truths, speculation or talking about, Sankhya philosophy or whatever, should hear from self-realized devotees about your holy name, form, pastimes, and qualities. They should completely follow the principles of devotional service and remain free from illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and animal slaughter. Surrendering themselves fully with body, words, and mind, they can live in any ashram of social status. Indeed, you are conquered by such persons, although you are always unconquerable. Interesting. And there's no purport here to that verse in the 10th canto, you may find one. But this is you could say, transformation verse. It doesn't in itself necessarily describe much. But it's letting go of everything else. This is where Bhagavad Gita leaves off, you could say. Letting go of everything else and hearing from the pure devotees. This is the Nivrititarshu Vigima Prabhoshadi Chotru Viramat Utamashloku Gunanavadat. This is the medicine. This is the actual solution to cure us of this tendency to hear this, that, and the other, to become entangled in the material world. Of course, hearing about the various forms of the Lord is related to the Lord. Everything is Lord Krishna's avatars, this, that, the other. But ultimately, the devotee is going to be attracted to hearing about his, the personality of God, at one's relationship with the Lord on a higher level. So this is the beginning. And that's to help prepare us, you say, understanding. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 kinds of persons who approach me. Who are they? The inquisitive. Now, inquisitive people, they will inquire about this, then they'll inquire about that. That's interesting. What about Lobsang Rampa? In the beginning, you may remember devotees would say things like that. Nor guests would say, Bhagavad Gita, yeah, I hear about that, that's nice, but what about Lobsang Rampa? What about this thing? What about that thing? They're just inquisitive. They're not focused. They haven't understood. And others? Who are the others? Pardon? Distressed. And oftentimes they're distressed when they got what they want. They don't go there again until they get in trouble again. Huh? Then they turn back again. Save me, God, help, help. And when they get what they want, then okay, they carry on. And who else? Those are similar kind of thing. Once they probably even when they get what they want, they go away. Or they start their own movement or something. And who are the other ones? The wise. And why does Krishna say of the 4, the wise are they? Krishna says the wise one is topmost. He's why? Because he's understood. He's understood these categories. The relationship, the purpose. The Krishna is the source or whatever it is, but he's understood. He's not approaching with another intention. He's got an understanding of who is Krishna. He's wise. Not just a scientist or something, but somebody who's wise in their approach to Krishna. So here we see that Lord Ramananda Roy is saying this is the process. Now, in that condition, we approach, and one can actually wants to know more. So then Ramananda Roy said, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is all right. Lord Chaitanya said, this is all right, but you can speak more. So he then began to speak more. Then he said, text 69 of the 8th chapter, Madhya Lila. As long as there is hunger and thirst, eating and drinking make one feel very happy. When the Lord is worshipped with pure love, transcendental bliss is awakened in the heart of the devotee. And then the verse we wanted to mention. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita matihi kriyatam yadikuto pilapyate tatra loyam apimulamekam janma koti sukhitaya tasapyate. You may have noted one line in that verse which is very famous. You picked it up. Tatra lolyam. You heard that before? Tatra lolyam apimulam ekalam. What does that mean? Greed. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had, even by pious activities, in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price, that is, intense greed to obtain it. It is if it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. You've just had Dinabandhu Prabhu here, I think. Is that right? Did he come here? And everyone in ISKCON knows how intensive his eagerness is to share and to absorb in Krishna Katha. Completely absorbed in hearing and chanting about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan and so on. What does it do to you when you're here, sitting here? What does it do to you? Some people might not be interested, but if you're trying to become Krishna conscious, what does it do to you? Okay, that's a good immediate response. What else does it do? Yes. Can someone hear that? I didn't hear anything. Okay, absorbs your consciousness in the past times. Pretty good, huh? You're not thinking of, I don't know what, the beach when you're, whatever else is on your mind right now, I don't know. You're not thinking of the beach or the war or the COVID or the football or I don't know what people are into. You're absorbed, right? What's the effect of being absorbed? Become enlivened, okay, yeah. You forget about your own, whatever yourself is, your issues, your false identities, your issues with other people, etc., etc. At least for the time being, you're not envious of anyone. What else? Of course, you could say we become purified or something like that. It's amazing, isn't it? You're like in another world. You're where you're meant to be. It's great. You feel good. So that's the effect of hearing. Has any of you ever met Mahavishnu? Not the Mad, I call him the Mad Hatter, or the Namahatta Swami. He wears a hat, so Namahat Swami. Not that one, the other one, the old one from Gujarat. He did he? He used to come here. Now, what was his eagerness? Bhagavatam. Wasn't it amazing? To his last breath, I was with him a week before he passed away. I was in what's that place called? We were staying. Nasik. We were in Nasik. And at the moment, last week, he could hardly breathe. But the only words that came out were verses from Bhagavatam. Nothing else came out of his mouth. Just one after the next, verses from the Bhagavatam. And to the last breath, he was just speaking Bhagavatam. Eager. He created in association of such a devotee, eagerness to learn verses from the Bhagavatam, remember the verses, try to understand how to apply them in our lives, instead of reading, gossip and God knows what you got on Facebook and this book and that book. It's much better. Do you feel blissful after 3 hours on Facebook or something? I don't know what you do it. I don't know. I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know what it's like. I'm missing out. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm missing out on the nectar of Facebook. I don't know. Whatever it is. But I don't think it's amazing. If you can sit down and hear the Bhagavatam in the association of devotees, in the right form, in a favorable way, it's incredible. Amazing effect. You really feel you're not so far away from Krishna consciousness as you thought at that time. Wonderful. So this Prabhupada, they're ecstatic over there. They're very eager. What's going on out there? Somebody's very eager. They're clapping away like anything. Pardon? Prashadam, why did you not mention that? If nothing else, I see in the Hare Krishna movement, devotees are eager about Prashadam. And Sarabi is very eager now. Gotta go. Something else is captivating your eagerness. Huh? What is that?
Catching a bus.
Catching a bus? Just tell them to come here. What to do? I suppose catch buses. Pardon? From where? You were very eager. Well, I'm sorry we haven't finished it quite. I want you to hear the purport. I'll read the purport if you've got 2 minutes. The previous 2 verses included in the Padhyavali of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami emphasizes this point of lolium, this eagerness is the price of Krishna consciousness. This is the price. The price of staying in the world, material world, is to become eager to hear mundane subject matters. That keeps us nicely in the material world. If we want to get out, we have to become eager to hear about Krishna. And we may not have that right now, so there is a process to become eager. We may become eager to take prasadam, it's part of it. Eager to dig the garden, eager to worship the deities, eager to clean the floor. Don't become eager to find fault in devotees. Whatever we do, that destroys it. The first, he goes on, refers to devotional service in faith, the first verse. So it begins with faith. It doesn't begin with spontaneous attraction for Krishna, but faith in the process, hope, faith. And verse 70, the one we just read, refers to devotional service rendered out of intense greed. There is nothing else. You cannot. It's like Vidura. Okay, there's a problem here. Krishna's left. It's too much to hear, but he's still intense. He wants to hear. He's greedy to hear more about Krishna, something he can digest, something he can handle. It's not something separate from the goal. The first is devotional service rendered in accordance to regulated principles. So we become eager for that. Sometimes Prabhupada describes raga even in the Vaidhi Bhakti stage. You're enthusiastic to do your particular service. You may not be with conscious, loving affection to the Lord, but you're eager to do it. We have to become eager in our service. Looking after the cat, I am absolutely astounded at Krishna Kirtan Prabhu in his condition, still eager to serve Srila Prabhupada's cows and bulls. It's amazing. I don't know what everyone else is doing now because you may have changed your services, but so many, I can't even see, the light is so bright around some of the faces here. There's effulgence around those faces, I think. Who else is here? Lalanath Prabhu here? He was. Oh, there's Ram Prasad Prabhu, I think, is it? I can't see your face. This is amazing. This effulgence is blinding me. Since day one, from the first devotees I ever met at New Govardhan, we were way back there in the 80s. And because she's gone, she was also here then. Huh? What's that? Sunglasses? I don't think that'll make any difference even still. I won't see anything at all. If I take my glasses off, I can see nobody. I can see figures, but no faces at all. Maybe I'll take my glasses off. But it's amazing to us. Still here. Something is attracting us. Something keeping us. You've got to have something. It may not be spontaneous love for Krishna, but something is keeping us. Maybe you like book distribution. Harinam Sankirtan keeps us going. Any devotees, prasadam. Whatever it is, something. Attraction there. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of severing our attraction to the material world and becoming attracted to Krishna. So that's regulated principles. The second refers to spontaneous love of the Lord without any extraneous endeavors. You don't have to think about it. It happens spontaneously. It's like if you're very attached to something in this world, you don't have to do much to go there, you know. It's like it happens. You can let your will, boom. Lust in general is like that, but specifics are like that sometimes too. So that for a devotee, you can't think of anything else. Everything's in relationship with Krishna. It's not, oh God, now I have to think of Krishna. It's spontaneous process leading to that. So Bhagavatam takes us on a step-by-step journey. Henceforth, the basic principle underlying the talks between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy will be spontaneous loving service. The regulated principles, according to the injunctions of Shastra, are necessary insofar as one's original dormant Krishna consciousness is not spontaneously awakened. So until we understand how everything is related to Krishna, how he is also the Purusha, and how the material, we're still in the material world, so we need to hear the relationship that Krishna has with the material world, so we can gradually, or in our conditioned state, understand step by step and become eligible. An example of spontaneous action, beautiful example, is the flowing of rivers into the ocean. They spontaneously, even if you block it, it keeps trying to find a way of getting to its destiny. Nothing can stop the flow of water. Similarly, when one's dormant Krishna consciousness is awakened, it spontaneously flows to the lotus feet of Krishna without impediment. Whatever will be spoken henceforth by Ramananda Roy, based on spontaneous love, will be agreeable to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the Lord will ask him more and more about this subject, so not to go prematurely into subject matters, and we're still attached to this material, but the relevant hearing which will purify us of our inclination or our greed for material sense enjoyment. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Become greedy to engage in service, greedy to engage in glorifying devotees. I think Hari Story Prabhu was here, isn't he? I mean, there's another example of a devotee. What a wonderful example of a devotee. His greed for glorifying Prabhupada knows no bounds. None different. He glorified the devotees even more than Krishna. Okay, well, definitely, I don't see it. Oh, there is a clock. I didn't see it. It's so close, I didn't see it. Way over time. Hare Krishna. Any questions? No, we're way over time. We're not so over time. Okay. Any questions? Yes? I can't recognize people when they've got their mask on. I guess we were brought up in times when bank robbers used to wear masks. Nobody could tell who they were, you know. you were like a nectar robber. You were trying to steal wherever you can find Krishna consciousness.
I have a severe pollen allergy.
Someone's going to have to translate.
My question is, you were saying that we should be greedy for service, but in the name of being greedy for service, it has to be done in a proper way, because sometimes some devotees might bulldoze devotees who are regularly doing service.
Bulldoze.
They want that service.
Yeah, bulldozers. We definitely experienced that as well. Probably one of them. But many times we've seen this bulldozing enthusiasm, knock everyone else out of the way, and you're in eagerness, enthusiasm to render service. So yes, it's correct. What you're saying is indeed correct. It should be done in the right way, in the way which will be pleasing to Krishna, anukulyena, way which is pleasing to Krishna. Well, it may not be always the case in the beginning. You learn as time goes on. If your intention is sincere, and in this, so that's why the emphasis is given in purport here in the Bhagavatam. In the association of devotees, we have to hear eagerly as a satampa sankama. In the association of devotees. So in the association of devotees, it's like you have a child. The child is not really at a certain stage very aware of how its behavior affects others around them. But you don't necessarily discourage the child, but you gradually educate the child. So yes, one has to understand how to perform devotional service in a favorable way that doesn't hurt or impede others in their devotional service. But there's inevitably going to be an element, at least, of that in a certain stage. Some people may be already a little more mature, but at a certain stage, we're definitely going to be a little bit, it's just how it is. But in consciousness, in different stages, you're only really aware of your own senses and your own, how it affects me. Also aware of others around us. But that comes in time. Learning in the association of devotees. Krishna, as he sees your sincere intent, will show us, will be pointed out to us without a doubt. And if we're sincere, we'll accept it. If we're not ready yet, we're not very sincere, we get upset and angry when somebody points things out, or we get corrected or whatever. Even if we're not wrong, if someone corrects us, we accept it favorably. There must be a reason why Krishna is allowing this to happen. But we may not be ready for that even yet, so a little bit of time it may take before we learn our lessons. Understand we are not God. We're servant of the servant, 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 servant. So thank you for pointing that out. And Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll leave it at that for today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande. Hey.